on to our agenda, which has been published. There is no prayers tonight because the vicar has given his apologies as he's finished, as everybody knows, and it's that close to the new year of council meetings that the new chairman in May will be able to choose their own vicar, and we will start afresh with that. On the other one, are there any apologies for absence, Sue?
No, they're not.
Thank you very much. Are there any declarations of interest from the five of us that are here? Councillor Seisden, Chris?
Basically, my declaration is that I don't have any declarations to make because the normal one's not on the agenda, and the one regarding my wife she's that far down the list of substitutes that it's got rather academic now, you know. So probably if she ever does go back up the list, I'll declare it, you know.
Yeah, fair enough on that one.
So basically, no declaration.
Dispensations, Sue?
Just the usual two to Councillor Seisden.
Thank you. And one that isn't here on the agenda, but I would like to just make everybody aware of it, and that our park keeper, as you might say, Mr. Dennis Thayer, that's been off for 12 months through ill health and that. I know he's about and what have you, but he's finally put his resignation in. He's decided to retire and have the nice sunny weather and the fruitfulness of the leisure to himself. So with that, I would like to welcome him all the best in his retirement. Hopefully we will still see him at the park, because he has been, I believe it was about 2008 that he started with us. So apart from this last year that's been very unusual, you know, he's done over 10 years of sterling work for us, repairing things and planting things and mowing. And we just get a new mower and he doesn't get to sit on it and ride round. I suppose he'll be a bit upset at that, but I'm sure they'll let him have a look at it. But it will be nice to see him about. And obviously I play darts and dominoes with him. If we get back to normality after this COVID and get back to it, I will get to see him. So I will pass best wishes on to him when I do see him. But it does seem only fitting that we should say thank you to him for all his hard work over the time that he's been with us. And obviously that is what's in part two for staffing, that we will be looking at his replacement as such. So thank you, Dennis, for your hard work. And I think everybody here would like to say that as well to him. And in the time-honoured fashion, we'll probably have a drink and, like we say, something proper at the appropriate time. And I think Councillor Odshead would like to say something here as Chairman of Amenities. Jason?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, as you're all aware, I'm still heavily connected with Chapel Town. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Dennis there for all of the work he did prior to becoming a park keeper for the parish. He gives, over the years, Dennis is one of those people that has given hours and hours and hours of his time to the parish. Never been too much trouble at the cricket club, at the football club. He's run football teams. He really is, but he's been a key member of the community. I wish him all the best in his retirement, and I hope he lives a long and happy life after this. He's been a real key member of the community.
I think we all echo that one, Jason, with and a lot of people who've worked with him over the years. Councillor Seisden, Chris?
I propose that we send him a letter of thanks if everybody's happy with that.
I think that's a very good idea. I was just going to say, I think it would probably be either in with a letter of thanks, be a retirement card or something like that. I'm sure, Sue, we can sort something out. Can we, in the office from there officially?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Thank you for that, everybody. And with that, we'll move on to number 3, which is police matters. Now, as it goes, we have no police here. We have had a couple of meetings. They did arrange one on Teams because they have them on Teams. I had a meeting where the police were involved and asked the question about whether they can do Zoom meetings, and the PCC, Hardledens, and the new chief Constable are looking into that and everything. So hopefully we will get round to them. If we do sort of hybrid meetings in the future, they'll be able to join us. Now, we have had an email from the police for tonight, which has been sent out to the councillors. Does anybody wish to have this just read out so that it's a record from the police? Or are you happy to take it as is? Or does Sue think we should read it out? Where are we with this, Sue?
I think as we've got members of the public here, it will be useful to just to read it.
Right, so
Have you got
with
a
that,
copy? Yeah.
yeah, I've got a copy here if you want. I can
Go on.
read it, because obviously this is one of the questions and answers on the matters arising when we come to last month's meeting. So it's from Emily Wright, the police officer. I'm emailing with the information on the upcoming parish meeting. I am the police constable Wright, the beat officer for Chapel. I believe I've spoken to some members of the council via Microsoft Teams for a meeting on thefts of bikes. Last week, a beat sweep was conducted by my team, whereby the mobile police station was stationed in Chapel and Chinley for a police presence to speak to the local community regarding any issues. A Facebook Live question and answer was conducted, and visible police patrols were in the area throughout the week. A holiday let in Chapel currently has an extended notice for a 14-day closure issued by the court, whereby nobody can book or stay at the property. This has reduced calls for the service for the property greatly. There is an ongoing operation with high-value bike thefts across the High Peak, with 2 bicycles being reported stolen in the past month in Chapel and Chinley. The operation includes a wealth of policing teams' involvement, regular patrols carried out in the area, stolen bike questionnaires given to victims, and crime prevention advice and tools available. They are continuing to do the patrols in Chapel Memorial Park due to the antisocial behaviour and groupings gatherings that have been going on under the COVID rules. So I think they've been proactive to everything that we have asked them for on that at this moment in time. I know there will probably be a couple of questions because people were at the police meeting, and I've just seen Nigel's hand go up. So, Nigel?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I spoke to PCSO Karen Green when they have their mobile police station, and really our conversation revolved around antisocial behaviour, around the mugger again. I think probably the best time to talk about that in detail is in the amenities meeting next Tuesday. So I just wanted a heads up to say that I'd have the conversation.
Yeah, well, you're not the only one. There's a few others as well had conversations, because I don't think the children understand the rule of 6, and they do congregate. Even the park keeper has mentioned it to us. So I think it is something, like you say, for the amenities meeting, which we need to speak about. Any other comments on that letter? And then any comments for us to take back towards the police? Jason?
Well, it's Stella first, actually, please, Chair, if you don't mind.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's all right. I'm following it across the screen. All the way around. Stella first, then. Go on.
Yeah, just a quick thing. There was another 2 bikes stolen last night in Chapel on Church Brow. So 3 sheds got broken into. So we've got no more information. My CCTV cameras don't cover that far down, but just to let you know, there's more.
More than the 2 that were mentioned in that.
Yeah.
But then again, that didn't mention last month, so they'll probably go on this month's figures, won't they? Yeah. Right, but is that everything from you, Stella? Back to Jason then.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Rather than just speak about the letter that we've got from Emily, I'd like to just discuss the last month in general, really, in terms of police matters, Chair.
Yeah.
It's as we start to come out of lockdown, there's going to be more and more people coming into the park and using the 5 parks of the parish. And what I would ask is that that as parishioners of Chapel Henry Frith and surrounding hamlets, that we take responsibility for our actions and for them of our children. You know, it's becoming more and more apparent that there are those amongst us that would like to do harm to the facilities that we try and provide. And I'd ask them that they take a long, hard look at themselves and you know, work with us rather than against us.
Yeah, I fully appreciate what you're saying there, Jason, because I do know that there was a congregation within the Memorial Park that left some broken glass and everything at the beginning of this weekend that did make it to Facebook, that a kind couple did clear up because they saw it afterwards and did take them to task. But it's a case of, as the police have been saying, and we're all saying, do you know where your children are? And I'm sure some parents don't, and that. So I fully agree with what you're saying there. I'm just wondering whether or not, you know, something else further could be said or done. And I'll come back to you, Jason. You've got your hand up. Yeah, go on. You still got your hand up.
No, is it Chris or me? Back to me again.
Yes, back to you while we're on.
What I would like to say, Chair, is a couple of months ago I did offer to spend some time and go into the school, well, alongside members of the police force, and I'm happy to do that again, Stuart. And I think as a council, perhaps more than one of us should go in there, because it really is about education now, Stuart. We can put as many signs up as we want in these parks, but if we really don't get that message across, if those signs don't get read, behaviour is not going to change. And as much as we're trying to improve the parish and make things better for everybody, you know, it's almost as if we're swimming against the tide. So, and if we go back to those broken bottles, how would they feel if an elderly member of the parish fell over and cut themselves? It really isn't. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. And if it's a case of there's no bins, then let's provide more bins.
Well, I was just going to say to that one, Jason, I think you did offer that. I think it's a very good idea. As we are going to be reporting back to the police, I think we should be asking Karen this one and see if we can get that set up, as you say, going into the school, because obviously as of next Monday, people can congregate outside. There will be further unlocking as it goes down, but I'm sure something could be arranged when they go back to school, that something can be said at school. So yeah, I think that's a very good idea, and if we communicate with them on that wavelength. Chris?
Right. I've got to just tell, but just following on from what Jason said, it probably makes sense for a female counsellor to go with him, you know, probably not with it being a mixed education school. So, but what I think that's a really good idea. Fantastic. I really want to do is just a number of years ago, where the local police did a bike marking, free bike marking thing. It was actually at the old police station, which is obviously closed a while now. And I had my last bike marked there, you know, with invisible ink or whatever they do. If it gets stolen, I just wondered if maybe we could ask the PCSO another one could be organised in Chapel, a bike marking session.
Besides the one you're talking of that was at the police station, I think they did do one down at Morrison's on the where the trolley bay is there and what have you at one point. So I don't see why we shouldn't ask them, because that's possibly a place, you know, either there or they can come and do it in the park. We could arrange something with them if they're willing to do it. So it's something we can ask.
So yeah, everybody agreed with that?
I can't see any shakes of heads the wrong way. Right, back to. Have you anything else you wish to bring up, Chris, or not? No, you all right at that? Well, we'll go to Stella then.
Thank you.
Stella.
Right, just to say that before Chris said it, I'd be willing to go in and help and go in with Jason and speak from a female point of view as well. So Chris had said it before I got a chance to. So yeah, if Jay wants me to come in and work with him and the police, I'm quite happy to do that.
Brilliant. Well, I think there's a plan of action there, Sue, isn't there, to go back to the police with that?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you all for that. Now, with the next one, it's the open forum number 4. As far as I know, Sue, we've only one gentleman wishing to speak. Is that correct?
Yeah, just one person's contacted me, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a gentleman called Mr. Andrew Barrett, and I can see his face on the screen there, so I know he's here. So I know he wishes to speak on behalf of relatives of his. I think most people will probably know of him or know his background. He's a ex-policeman and he's a councillor in a neighbouring county. So with that, Mr. Barrett, I'll give you 3 minutes for you to speak in the open forum. So if you'd like to unmute yourself and have your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. I'm reading this letter on behalf of my auntie. She's 89 years old and she's one of the trustees for the Beresford Memorial Hall for the Trust. It reads as follows. At the full Parish Council meeting on the 2nd of February 2021, via Zoom and recorded on video, there was an item 18 which resulted in a vote of 4-1 in favour of reporting the Beresford Trust to the Charity Commission. On behalf of the trustees, I'd like to take issue with some of those comments, as certain inaccuracies cannot be left unchallenged. And in doing so, I refer to both the attached transcript and our 1959 governing document. The comments made by Councillor Gawley regarding the governing document, and in particular that an order is required to allow the land to be managed for other use than just as a playing field, is incorrect. He has misled the Parish Council in this matter. The governing document, which wasn't available to be read on the night of the 2nd of February for either the Parish Councillors or the public, does allow for a variation in usage under section 15 part 1 and section 21. Mr. Gawley further stated, the charity is seeking to avoid scrutiny of its operations and change its structure to exclude the trustees appointed by the Chaplain of Frith and Peak Forest Parish Councils. Where's the evidence to support this allegation? The statement is completely untrue. Councillor Gawley stated, for 2 years, I have been trying to get answers to my questions about the Sparrow Pit Park. And in August 1919, the Secretary of the Trust promised to send this council its accounts and bank statements, minutes and a full list of trustees. And then nothing appeared. The Beresford trustees are not at the command of Councillor Gawley. It is for the Parish Council to work with its appointed representatives in an adult and appropriate manner. Also, please could Councillor Gawley expand on the personal attacks he refers to, where they've been evidenced. Councillor Gawley states that we have refused to accept the council's oversight. The council has no oversight role, but they may benefit from reading the Charity Commission guidance document, particularly with CC 27 and CC 3, so as they can gain fuller and better understanding. Councillor Gawley continually states that the Beresford Trust does not accept the trustees of the Parish Council has appointed. This is blatantly untrue, as one of the trustees they appointed last year has assigned the last letter back to the council, and both Peter Harrison and Carol Cobb have attended and participated in the Beresford Trust meetings. Now, Councillor Adshead stated that he would like to see the subject off the minutes of every single meeting. As representative for Sparrow Pit, maybe he would be prepared to meet representatives of the committee and help to remove it from the minutes, which he has done. Thank you very much, Mr. Councillor Adshead.
You've had your 3 minutes, Mr. Barrett. If you'd like to be summing up, please.
Yeah, well, if it's going to carry on. I can't understand why. My auntie has been in the trust for 56 years and she's deeply disappointed. She's not in the best of health at 89 years old. And she's not just speaking for herself and just all the volunteers, that a small group of parish councillors see fit to make such unfounded and reckless allegations and bring to question the integrity of their charitable works. So, how do we get it off the agenda? Quite simply, the trustees, my Auntie Mary, Hilary, and the fellow trustees would like a full public apology from Councillor Gawley for all his inaccurate accusations, right? And we'd like that on a Zoom meeting. We'd also like the council to write a letter to the Buxton Advertiser, as they were so quick to do last time, to highlight these things, which were all wrong in the first place. I've been reading through lots of emails that Mr. Gawley has been sending out here, there and everywhere. And I can understand what they mean by the word bullying, which a lot of past councillors from Chapel Frith Council refer to. And I can see where it's all coming from. Why? Now that I'm not too sure. Why he should challenge Hilary Battersby, not too sure what's going on there at all. So, you know what it's going to take to stop it? A full apology. And if it doesn't, it won't stop. It'll keep rearing its ugly head. Thank you very much, Chair. I think I've said enough.
Right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Barrett, for your comments there. Because yes, I do fully agree that this is going on, and Jason did say that it was time it was put to bed. Just before you speak, Nigel, can I just ask Sue to give us an update? It would have normally come up under correspondence later, but I'd just like Sue to give an update of where we're at this moment in time as a council, please, because we do. She did do what was asked of reporting to the Charity Commission and has got a reply for us. And then I'll come to you, Nigel. Sue, you first, please.
Yeah, so at the February council meeting, there was a motion to make a report to the Charity Commission, which was done. We got an acknowledgement back to say that we would hear within 30 working days if the Charity Commission were going to take any action. So 30 working days have passed and we haven't heard anything. I have rung them just to check whether there would be any delays with COVID, and they have confirmed that they are working to the 30-day rule. So the inference is, as we've not heard anything, they won't be taking any action.
Thank you very much for that, Sue. Right, we'll come back to Councillor Gawley. Nigel, your turn.
Yeah, I mean, the first point that I want to make is that Mr. Barrett says that his auntie is a trustee, but she's not listed with the Charity Commission as a trustee of that charity. And I think that's been the case all the way through, that Mrs. Battersby has asserted that there are two tiers of trustees. That there are a pair of trustees who are Mrs. Battersby and Mrs. Moorcroft, who are registered as trustees with the Charity Commission. And she sees the rest as being a separate tier. Now, that doesn't fit in with the constitution of the charity. When I've raised this before with the Charity Commission, Mrs. Battersby filed a standards complaint against me, which reached as far as being investigated by an outside body who told Mrs. Battersby in no uncertain terms that she had to clean up her act with the charity, and she then dropped the complaint against me. Now, Mrs. Battersby is one of 2 trustees registered with the Charity Commission, and she has rented the charity's land to her son. Now, that is a failure of governance under anyone's view. Now, I've listened to Mr. Barrett, and he has strong emotions about this, but there is a way of dealing with those emotions. If he thinks that he's done wrong, he's been done wrong by this council, he should put in a complaint to this council. If he thinks that he's been done wrong by me, he should put in a complaint to the monitoring officer. And if, as he has asserted on Facebook, that criminal activity has taken place, then he needs to go to the police, not air those silly allegations on Facebook.
Right. Well, from that, I can glean, because we should not really, in an open forum, go into discussions.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about the right to reply.
I've given the chance for Nigel to reply to yourself, so I will give you the chance, Mr. Barrett, for the right of reply to that. But what I will say is, with everything that's been said and what Sue has said, and I believe from what I heard there that Jason has spoken to them up at Sparrow Pit and been and seen them, from what that was you just said, and you're nodding. I think as far as the council's concerned, we have done everything within our power, and it is getting silly, this, in the respect of back into, it's like but should have been in the bike sheds at the playground or whatever. So if you could be fairly succinct with what your reply is, please, Mr. Barrett, on this one.
Yeah, I'm reading this on behalf of the trustees, my Auntie Mary, Hilary Battersby, and all the rest of them. Right?
There are only 2 trustees. There are only 2 trustees.
I'm not going to let you go into an argument in public. This is not the place.
Thank you. It's a quiet, Councillor Corley. Don't be so rude. Don't be so rude. This is not a debate. This is a forum. You'll listen to me and shut up. Right? As I say, this letter has been sent to the council. It wasn't read out as requested, so it's been read out tonight in public, because the public deserve to know what they have as councillors.
This is just a UKIP politician coming on here trying to cause trouble around an election. It's true, though, isn't it?
Well, I think so. If you think that most of your emails go back to 1919, it's been a long time coming. But with you constantly going at it, you've brought it upon yourself.
No.
You won't get a reply from the Charities Commission because they've done nothing wrong. Because they've done nothing wrong.
I am not.
The group of ladies have done nothing wrong, and you are victimising them.
Renting land to her son. We could not act once she'd sent those accounts saying that she'd rented out land, charity land, to her son. It was impossible.
Rented out every year for the last 60 years.
Councillor Walters, would you I've got Councillor Walters and Councillor Adzed, and then that's going to be the end of this one, because I'm not revisiting this time and time again. Councillor Walters.
Can I just say that it's a council meeting and it's very rude of people to argue with the councillors. They've said this, he's said his piece, his answer, Nigel's answered it, and then that should be it. They have 3 minutes, and it's took a long time, a lot longer than 3 minutes. And I'm not willing to spend all night listening to this.
Fair enough, Councillor Walters. Councillor Jason.
Apologies. Thank you, Chair. So what I would like to say is that Mr. Barrett's had 3 more minutes tonight to air his views, and rightly so, given that the council have discussed this on air, and it's only right to even the situation up. Tonight is the first that I've heard that the Charities Commission replied to the council. I haven't been online for 9 or 10 weeks. It's been a bit of a nightmare for me, so I wasn't aware that that is the case. However, if that is the case, and then that documentation is made available to us, if there's anything that I have done to the people of Sparrow Pit, I will be the first person to stand on the Zoom meeting and apologise.
Sorry, can I just come in there just to clarify?
Yeah, sorry, Sue.
We haven't actually had a response.
Oh,
When we put the complaint in, we got an automated response to say that we would hear within 30 days if there was going to be an investigation. We have heard nothing. So I just rang them to see whether they were still working within the 30-day parameters because of COVID, and they've said yes, they are. So we have heard nothing. So 30 days have passed.
thank you, Sue.
That was why I'd asked Sue to say that, because she'd rung specifically to say because the 30 days passing. So as it goes, there is not a charity commission unless they suddenly come back to us to answer to. It is begetting now to be more personal, person against person. And I do not think it is a place of the parish council to get into personal fights like this. As far as the business transactions that we do, they are separate and above this. So I think with that, Jason, you've got your hand up again.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just one final question. I do believe that this has now left the parish domain and gone to the Charities Commission. I do believe now that, as I mentioned in the minutes of the last meeting, I believe it's time to take this from the Zoom meetings at the Parish Council and off Facebook. And Nigel has given an opportunity to take this further by either reporting the council or by an individual councillor. I think that really should be the channel that's taken, and we take it away from the Zoom meetings now.
Along the same lines for Mr. Barrett, and I will say Mrs. Batterby, there's no S in it, in the respect of they have also the chance to report to the monitoring officer or to the police or to the charities or whatever themselves. So I think as far as, sorry about that, I think as far as that goes, I think as the parish council in itself, because we will have all new parish councillors as of May, apart from the 5 of us that are here, the parish council should not actually be engaging in a lot of this, because like you say, it's just bickering back and two. But I do feel that there should be some form of resolution to put this to bed, as you might say, in the respect of, is anybody going to apologize? Does anybody have to apologize? Is anybody going to apologize? Or has anybody got any ideas? Because I say, we cannot keep coming back to this month after month. And as Stella has just said, taking the time up that we have taken up. Now, Jason has made his point clear. Nigel, you've got your hand up again.
Yes, I think the way to bring this to a close is that the trust should appoint between 13 and 17 trustees and register those trustees with the Charity Commission. That is the way to regularise this charity.
But I honestly don't think it's the parish council's place to decree and do that. We have 2 representatives upon that committee.
They're not accepting them as trustees, and you well know, you have received the same email from Mrs. Bantersby.
They are not trustees, you are quite correct.
In 2019, she has said, these are not trustees. Well, the
No,
Constitution,
they aren't trustees, they never have been.
They are.
They never have been. And we put 2 appointees on there. And at our AGM each year, we choose the 2 appointees. And they should report back to us. I said that at the word go on this. They never have been trustees.
That's just not the case, Stuart. I know she's a friend of yours. And hence, you've been allowing this month after month. But all we can do is assert our right to appoint 2 trustees, just as Peak Forest should be asserting their right to appoint a trustee. Now that charity
do
has been
appoint
running.
somebody.
That charity has been running with 2 trustees instead of the 13 to 17 that its constitution says that it should have.
Well, I think it is time to let the charity commission and the legal side to deal with it. This is, I am no lawyer.
Why you are bringing these people into the public forum month after month when the charity commission should be handling this investigation.
Well, we didn't
Because we're
get the
allowed
reply.
to.
We didn't get the reply from the charity commission till Sue rang up. We have only brought it in the last 3 months as they've had 3 minutes, 1 for, 1 against, and the latest one. So that, as far as I'm concerned, is not going to keep getting brought up again and again and again in the open forum, because this is ridiculous. This is not what we're here for, to argue out things like this.
One of the purposes of this council is to provide play parks. Now, the only way that we can do that in Sparrowpit is to come to some agreement with the George and Sarah Beresford Memorial Foundation. Now, it's very difficult to do that when it's being run so badly. We've got a draft lease with outstanding, and it's very difficult to see how to do anything with it when they're running their charity with 2 trustees instead of between 13 and 17.
Well, the simple thing is, if we enter into a lease with them, that is up to them of how to deal with their body as such, not for us to tell them how to deal with their body.
The reason we have 2 trustees on their board is exactly because we are running the play park.
Yeah, but that's for our 2 representatives to report back to us. It should not be going through argument after argument.
They're simply not accepting them. You saw all the emails in 2019, Stuart.
Yes,
and
there was the thing is, it is for our place now to replace when we come to the May elections, and we've got new councillors.
Still not to accept them as trustees.
Correct. Representatives.
Well, I consider this is going to go further legally, and I don't think this is the forum. And I'm going to shut this down tonight because this is not the place to be discussing this. We've spent 25 minutes on this now. And Councillor Walters, you've got your hand up, and then I'm going to finish this one.
I was just going to say, can we just close this subject, please? Because it's gone on far too long. And we're not going to get any answers tonight.
That was exactly what I was just saying. We're going around in circles.
Well, it's your own fault, Stuart, for inviting a UKIPper from Congleton to talk about Sparrowpit.
I've been to Sparrowpit a lot more than you, Miss Councillor Gawley, and because I own land in Chaplain Frith, I can come to these meetings. I'm not
anybody can come to any council meeting within the country. That is the law. It doesn't have to be somebody who lives in the area. If they have a grievance against that council, they have every right to do so within the country. We could go down to the Isle of Wight or up to Ayrshire or whatever and still take part. So anyway, with that for tonight, because we spent long enough on it, I'm going to close this item down for tonight. It was only meant to be the open forum. We now know where they're coming from. We now know what they want. Discussions can go on in the office or whatever, but I do not want this to rumble on and come back, as Councillor Adset has said. Right, with that, I will move on to number 5, which is the minutes of the full council meeting held on March the 2nd. Is everybody, before we get to the point for going through them, do you want to go through them as we do, or do you just want to say about the 3 meetings being true record? We can go through them one by one if you want, as we do it. So are they a true record of the minutes on the 2nd of March, please? The draft copy out. Is everybody happy with those? Can I have a proposer or a seconder or both for those, please, on the 2nd of March? It's all gone quiet. Because there are quite a few answers. If somebody wants to propose them, we'll go through with the answers. Because Sue has a list of answers here for us.
I'll propose them.
Thank you. I'll second them. Oh, Jason seconded them. So with that, what I'm going to say, considering the matters from this one, I've got quite a list here, so I might as well do this one first. As such, obviously, on 331, the police report you've received tonight, and they have also said they're going to try and obtain some posters, which was what we asked for. Also on 339, which we'll need to look at in more detail later in the respect of the next council meetings that we hold, because there is new information which you've received tonight. So that, and you've received in your pack, and there's a judicial review that's on the 21st of April. So we'll speak about that when we get to that one. Clark has written to HPBC about the sanitisation issues in the bypasses, but we've not yet had a response. As you will see later on again, the Grafika order has been placed. Also, which is on the agenda for number 12, is the complaints procedure, which Nigel, you've spoken about just briefly in that discussion there, which we'll be coming back to. On 345, Sue has been in touch with High Peterborough Council about the CRB checks and that, and they've said that it would be cost effective and more sensible to do them all together after the new members have been elected in May. She has set up an account ready for this to go. So once we have our May meeting, that one can be sorted out and the names all need just going forward. So be prepared. The next one I've got on my list is 347, which is from Councillor Perkins, because obviously he's given his apologies tonight in the respect of it would have been his last meeting as such, because he's not standing for the county elections. But we've had an email response about the 106 money, which we are following through on that one to see what can happen with that. And then obviously the part 2, we need to speak about the staff. So that's basically all the updates on the minutes from last month. Is there any other questions or anybody who wants any other updates of where we're at with that from last month? Councillor Sizeland?
Item 340, the Stella at this, we decided to put action points on that. I know the footpath group, their minutes aren't in at this meeting, but we've done it as a separate agenda item that we bring all the action points together at the end, and so that they're all in one place. It becomes a rolling item. We take them ones. I just wondered what. I was under the impression that what we're going to do, but I just thought I'd remind people of it.
Well, I think the answer to that is it'll start as of next month, Chris, on that one, because we've had Easter, which has taken a Friday and a Tuesday out, and we had to get these out very quickly to give the full week's notice, the 4 working days notice, as you know, last week. So I'm not sure that Sue had time to actually set all that up, unless Sue wishes to answer any different.
Sorry, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Just explain that again.
It came up at the amenities meeting and partly to do with this, and it's a case of putting action points on, like we said, like you and I have just said about the police matters, to go back to them and say things. There's an action point there, and they were talking about putting action points on so that they knew who'd got to do what.
Right, so in these minutes, it's got actions on the 2nd of March. So if, for instance, you look at
Yes.
341, there's the resolution and then the action.
All right. Yeah.
So
That's
do
what
you-
I'm going to say.
that-
It's not.
I
It's
mean,
not. It's not initialed in a list at the end or anything. It's on each one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you want something different, tell me. It doesn't matter to me.
I thought that Stella was just what. I'm sure Stella will mute herself in a minute. But Stella, was it so that stuff didn't fall off that we checked that we sort of anything couldn't be done 1 month? You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, here it says like Sue's action, the action for right, where is it? The chairman. Wait a minute, 341, Mike, you were saying. Right, the clerk's right to High Peak Council. So because Sue's done that, you've answered the question. You've answered by saying you've had no response for it. So that's what I wanted. The action. They are bullet pointed, aren't they? So yeah, it's just so we can see at the end of it of each question that was or action. What the action is.
Okay.
I'm getting stumbled.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
I can say on that one, Chris, and so because Sue had done it for me to be able to do this, I've got those numbers written down with what she's done. So that was what I was reading off when I replied to you.
Fine.
Yeah. No, it just means at the end of it, like now we know that the action is to arrange DBS checks on 345. Yeah, thank you.
Well done.
Right, you're happy with that then, Chris?
Yes, thank you, Sue. It's probably me misunderstanding. I thought it was a separate item. But anyway.
Thank you, Sue.
Okay.
Right, so if everybody's happy with that for those, we'll move on to the planning committee, which obviously as being on the planning committee for the Borough Council, I have a dispensation, I don't appear. So, and Councillor Sizen, you're chair of this. We can just hand over to you for your planning committee minutes.
Very brief. I think most of it's sort of self-explanatory. We had some very robust discussions, very democratic and open discussions, which is good. It was democracy in action, and that can only be good.
Anybody got any questions on that? No? Brilliant. So that's it. And then we've got the amenities committee meetings, which are the 4th of March, and the 26th. And you'll get those dates the wrong way round. Moving over to Councillor Adshead now as chair of that.
Yeah, okay, so I'm live. Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I wouldn't want to bore you all again with what we've gone over, but on the 4th of March, we discussed the 95% of the meeting was discussed. Really, some ideas of how we move the Mugger forward, the skate park, that particular area of the park. Nothing finalised, but obviously it left Sue and Emma with a number of questions that we needed to ask. And we also agreed that we would involve the school children in any future plans moving forward, because it's important that we get all users' input. And then on the 26th of March, we held our regular amenities meeting, and again, it's all documented. I wanted to touch base with the letter that we received about dog fouling in Needhams, or the Wreck as it's known, and I just want to reiterate what I said at the start of the programme. As parishioners, citizens of the parish, I think we have to be aware of what we're up to, and we have to try and consider other users' opinions when we're using the facilities. Other than that, Chair, it's all on the website, what was discussed. Nigel.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor. I was just going to say, we've had a reasonable report back from our park keeper since then, because we've had, with this nice sunny weather, he's had a chance to use the new mower, and he seems very happy with it. So that's one start. And just to let the public know here, because there's 2 dates, we've got a amenities meeting next Tuesday after the planning meeting, which is the one agenda meeting, which is to do with the mugger. And then we've got a normal amenities meeting on the 30th of April again on the Friday afternoon, which are the 2 dates. I know they'll come up later, but I just thought while we're on the amenities, we might as well say it. And I've got 2 hands up. I've got Stella first.
No, Nigel's first.
Oh, is it? It's whichever way round they come up on my screen. Right, Nigel first then.
Thanks, Stella. So I've had 2 emails. I've sort of chatted with various people about these, various councillors about these. One was from a resident of Grange Park Avenue. He was asking about the locking of Bowling Green Lane gate. I've written back to him explaining the situation. I just wanted to sort of raise it as a sort of thing where maybe we want to start thinking about opening it up on a trial basis at night. I don't know. I think it's probably best to talk about it in an amenities meeting rather than here. The other was from David Fine from Eccles Road, who came up with some good suggestions of how we might go about thinking about exercise in the park. What sort of constraints that we should put on ourselves when we're coming up with plans. Again, it's something that I just wanted to drop into conversation here, but really it deserves to be talked about or thought about at an amenities meeting. So those are my two emails that I've had.
Well, I think to answer you on that, Nigel, on Jason's behalf, yes, I think the second one should be at the amenities so that it can be discussed properly with the amenities committee. As for the first one about the unlocking of the gate, I think we'll just have to check, because I think we said at a full council meeting when we discussed it, it was a 6 months trial. So when we get to the 6 months, we were going to discuss it and probably have a trial of opening it again. So you're probably right on that. Just need to check whether we're at that 6 month point. I don't know whether Sue knows off the top of her head, but I don't. Just like that, we must be getting somewhere close. And with it becoming the summer months, it's probably about right, is it?
I just have to check, but we must be getting close. Yes.
Yeah. So once we get to the 6 month point, I would think that it's something we can trial opening and see what difference it makes, and then it can be discussed at the amenities again if that's what you wish, if the councillors wish on that one. Stella, we'll go back to you then with your hand up.
Going back to Jason, you know the Needham part and the signage. Has anything been done about applying for the signage for the gates? We said we're going to look at getting new signage because it says no dogs allowed and all that. Has anything been...
That's still it on my plate.
Right. That's you. That's it.
Right. So is everybody happy with those 2 sets of minutes? I know on our agenda we've got one of the, because you asked me at the meeting to make sure it was on the agenda to sort out about these benches, so we've got it on as an agenda item, so we can deal with that later. But other than that, if everybody's happy, and we can get on with, and a lot of the things can be reported back on the 30th meeting. The other stuff can be done next Tuesday. Right, thank you for that, Jason. Right, we'll move on to number 9, which you've got a sheet about the town hall losses. Now, mainly just to say for the members of the public, we have received some money through from the government and that, but because the hall hasn't been hired and hasn't been used, we've actually lost just short of £16,000 worth of income over the last 12 months. So hopefully we can get out of this lockdown and people can come back and start using it and bring some money back in. I would just ask Sue on that one if we could carry on with this sheet, because we aren't fully out of the lockdown yet, and it will be sporadic because some will be able to return and some won't, depending on their age and who they are and how many they are, won't they? So if everybody's happy, that's just really an update for you of where we're at, and we'll carry on with that, because I think it gives us a very good, spread of what's happening. Thank you for that, Sue. Right, where are we? Right, yes, number 10. The guidance from DALC to return to personal meetings or personnel meetings or face-to-face meetings. It has lots of different names. Now, I don't know if people have had chance particularly to have a look at this, if they've got any expressions of wishes, as you might say, but two parts to this is, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, in the respect of, we've got it coming up, number 16 later, the annual parish meeting has to be held by a certain date, but also our May meeting, which is the main one here that is going to cause the concern, as you might say, due to the fact that the elections are being held on the Thursday, the 6th of May. We would normally have our parish council meeting on Tuesday, the 4th of May. We'd already moved that on to Tuesday, the 11th. We'd moved it on by 1 week because of the elections. We knew they were coming. But with this, with the rules changing, that would have possibly meant that we needed a face-to-face meeting in the town hall on the 11th. If we do that and have to send paperwork out to everybody, if they don't get elected till the Thursday, we wouldn't have time to send the paperwork out to people. If we know by the end of this week that they are uncontested, well, we've got time to get paperwork out to them. But if there's actually a contested election for any of the seats, we wouldn't have time. So I'm just asking your opinion and that, because it means a difference to the planning meeting. Well, we would have to move on another week for our, or at least a day or a couple of days. We'd have to move the May election, May meeting because of the election, and we could have this whether we have to do it by Zoom or face to face. So which way around? I've got two hands up. I've got Nigel and I've got Stella. Who wants to go first? Stella?
No, Nigel was up first again.
Oh, Nigel first.
I'll take my hand down.
I'd prefer to leave it until we've got all the councillors elected. I think it would seem strange to hold an annual general meeting
without
only a few days before we have new councillors.
Right. Stella?
I was going to say similar, and I agree that we should hold the next full council meeting after they've been elected. I mean, we went 4 months last year without a meeting, so we can spread it out. I know we'll have two within a fortnight if we do it that for the first week of June, but I think I'd rather wait and have it on the what
18th.
is it? The 18th, the day after the pub's open, yeah.
Well, my personal opinion, because I know being on the Borough Council, they're looking at back because they've been in to have a look to see how many they can have in the town hall. Sue will tell me if my numbers are right, but they've worked out that they could hold the planning meeting in the main hall. Yes, we'd have to have our council meeting in the main hall rather than the annex to give us the space. But I think they said they could either get 14 or 16 public in. They worked out how they could lay it out. This was the Borough Council hiring of the room off of us. So with us and the full council, and even if any public come, because we've got half a dozen here tonight, it would be possible. So I personally would like to decree as such tonight that we are going to move the May council meeting to Tuesday the 18th of May to give us time to do all of that. And then we can work within these DALC rules and anything that comes through court on the 21st. And if everybody's happy with that, Chris, you've got your hand up.
Yes, I agree with everything. I agree with everything that everyone else has said, date-wise and that. But also, I'd like to add is that as DALC were talking about having hybrids once we got to this situation. Basically, the government said they haven't got time to legislate at the moment to sort of allow either ors, but DALC have suggested that we put £5,000 to one side each parish council towards, even though the physical meetings, there'll also be, it'll be sort of, it'll go remotely to elsewhere, and people can actually ask questions from there. And I think Nigel had done some work on that, but we just got to. I see Nigel's got his hand up, so I'm sure he'll say more.
Nigel?
Yeah, there is money in the budget, but I don't think we can do it for May, because we'd have to bring a motion, and we haven't got time to bring that motion before May. So what I don't know, I sort of lost track of what was going on, but are we saying that we're going to swap the dates of the planning meeting and the full council meeting?
Basically, yes. So
All
the
right.
full council meeting's on the 18th, and it'll probably mean, because when we do things like that, and we'll have to just check with Emma and see that they're all right, normally they end up having their planning meeting. I don't know what date their planning meeting is planned for, but it usually ends up being the next day, being on the Wednesday, when something like this happens. It only happens once every 4 years, so the planning would end up probably being on the 19th. Is that about right, Sue?
It is, yeah. I mean, my understanding at the moment is that the May meeting has to be a hybrid meeting.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for the outcome of this challenge in the High Court.
So, but we still need to move the date because of getting people
Yeah.
either to a hybrid or a whatever. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we move the dates to the 18th and 19th, and then by then we'll know, well before then, we will know what we're doing as either a face-to-face or a hybrid. And it can be,
Yeah.
can be disseminated to everybody. That's what I'm meaning. Yeah. Nigel?
So, Stuart, can I just suggest that if we have anything like this in future, you know, a little email around to the 4 or 5 of us, and we could have sorted this out on email rather than spending time on it tonight.
Well, seeing as I didn't know all of it till yesterday myself, it would have been difficult. But yeah, all right. If I'd got plenty of time, I would have done. Stella, is that a residual hand, or you want to speak again?
Yeah, no, I wanted to speak before. Can't we still have the planning earlier before the full council meeting, or do you have to wait till you've got the full? I know we won't have the new councillors on, but can't we still have the planning meeting the week before the main? Because I don't think I can make Tuesday and Wednesday that in one week on the first week. I could probably do the Tuesday because I'll get some Martin to work, but I can't do 2 nights. So couldn't we have the planning the week before? Does it matter?
Probably not, actually, on that one.
On the planning.
How would that stand, Sue? Could the planning meeting actually stay at the date that they've got it at?
Yes, I don't know what date they've got. Have they got
11? It would have been the 11th of May.
Yeah.
It just makes life easier. I know it's not always about me. So are we going to be having the full council in the town hall, or are we having it Zoom?
You've got to have it in the town hall.
Right, so that's, yeah.
Yeah, but you might have to do it Zoom as well, is what I'm saying, until we know what the High Court say.
Right. So, yeah, right.
So, as it goes then, sorry about this, Nigel, the planning meeting will stay on the 11th instead of us having the full council meeting. We'll have the full council meeting in May. We will have to be in the town hall, but we might have to set up a Zoom connection and everything, depending on what the High Court and everybody decides. Right, so that's the guidance of how we can work with that. Right. Everybody happy with that? Yeah.
So,
Okay.
right,
You've still got your hand up, that's all, Stella. I was just
yeah, sorry, I'm just putting it in my diary. Planning on the 11th, full council meeting on the 18th.
Nigel, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, item 11. This is in the budget. I think we should do it. It's good for tourism. It's a no-brainer, really. Get some walking leaflets out across the Hope Valley. Try and tempt some tourists into the town as soon as lockdown finishes. I propose this motion.
I'll second that.
Right, is it, Jason, is that a hand up? Whether yes, or did you want to speak? Well, we've got hands up for yes. Jason?
I would speak.
Yeah, Jason does as well.
Jason as well. So, Jason, Chris first. Then he's got his mic off.
Basically, I just wanted to say. I mean, they were talking about how many thousand and that, because it's. I think we basically how many do we keep for local distribution ourselves, and how many do we give to the people who sort of go round, and these people who go round and put them in the pubs and.
We generally give about 10,000 to the distributor. We've got roughly that in stock, slightly less than that, but it's enough for him to distribute with. And then I'll come back with another proposal to reprint the walking leaflets after the May elections.
Okay, fine.
Stella, your turn.
Jason was first.
Hi, Chair. Thanks, Stella. Yeah, I just, I really wanted just to share with everybody how proud I am of the work that the people involved in these leaflets and what they've done. I noticed at weekend that Councillor Ruth George was incredibly vocal on Facebook over the Whaley Bridge walks that they produced, and I'm hoping that the County Council will give us a councillor that will be equally as proactive and as keen to promote Chapel moving forward.
Right. Well, now we're back to you, Stella. It must be by
Right. Yeah. Right. Just to say that when I started this and I went round places, Buxton information and that said they wanted at least 2,000 of these leaflets. So we're going to have to get some more. So, but I've give out a few, and I was going to take them to all the local pubs once we open. So maybe we can just. Shall I keep back them, Nigel? Do you think until after the May elections, and then I can deliver them?
So long as we've got sort of 9,000 to give to the guy,
right?
You know.
Yeah. Okay then.
Chris, you got your hand up again.
Sorry, well, I never put it down, but it was a quick one. I did run into some walkers who were doing one of the 5 Alls walk, and they really enjoyed it, and they used the app, the barcode, and but I ran into them twice, but they did enjoy it. They thought it was brilliant.
That app's brilliant on that board, and we're working on the next lot now. I've done 2 of them, so we're working on the next lot of walks. Anyway, that's it for that.
So with that, Nigel, you've proposed this, and I'm presuming, yes, everybody's in favour of it. I think it's the people we've used before, isn't it, Sue, to distribute?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so that's unanimous then. That that one we carry on. We've just got to get some more.
Can I just say thanks to Sue for all the work she's done in keeping in touch with Lindsay and that to try and get all these walk leaflets done and everything, because it was she's done a lot of work for it.
Yeah, thanks from me too, Sue.
Well, I think that's a thanks from the council actually, Sue, and I think we should also say thank you to Lindsay for how much time she's put into it as well, because at least we're getting there with them, aren't we now, and we can get them out.
Yes.
Right. Are you all right with that then, Sue?
Yes, fine.
Thank you. Right, we'll move on to number 12 then. We have a motion from Mr. Gawley, which is the complaints procedure that we started on last time, and he withdrew because we were it was a bit of a muddle. I'll hand back to Mr. Gawley. Nigel, we've got it up again. Do you want to say your piece on it now again?
Yeah. So the policies and procedures of the council when the mass resignation took place were a mess that had been caused by factionalism. That essentially people had been writing their own versions of what should take place. And, you know, I just wanted to come back, first of all, with the standing orders and you know, just moving through the policies and procedures until we've got something that looks like a standard. So last time, I don't think many councillors had read through it particularly thoroughly. So, this time I've presented it a bit more clearly. It's still the same information. So you've had it a week, and then Chris came back with some a suggestion that we try and incorporate the part of the communications policy which had been dealing with complaints into this complaints procedure. And I've done that and sent around the revised copy today, but essentially it's only a change of a sentence in the introduction. Like I said last month, I think if we dealt seriously with complaints in the past, we wouldn't be in the legal affairs that we're in at the moment. Because there has been no process of dealing with a complaint in a structured way, essentially we've had to rely on some of the more experienced members of the council to say whether they thought complaints had any merit to them or not in the past. I think what this complaints procedure will do is create a, first of all, it will make sure that every complaint has to be dealt with. And then it will create a paper trail so that if we see the same complaint appearing twice, we can either say, well, something has gone wrong in the past, or we can say, in the past, we came to the right decision. I think we need to act in a grown-up way. In the past, we had a form which said complaints procedure on it. But I saw two versions of those forms, which someone had bothered to fill out and which the council took absolutely no notice of. They dealt with them by simply ignoring them. Now, that's not what we should be doing. We should be listening to our neighbours. And if we do something wrong, we should be examining ourselves and our procedures. So I propose this complaints procedure.
Jason, I think, got his hand up first there. Jason, demute yourself.
Sorry, Chair, I'd like to second what Nigel just said, please.
Any other comments? I only have one comment, Nigel. The other one that you're talking about was actually a compliments form, wasn't it? I think one of them, to people could actually compliment if something was right with the town hall, the one that had the pictures on. It wasn't actually, it was either complaints or compliments or something. I seem to recall seeing one of them.
I didn't see any forms filled in with compliments. I saw two forms filled in with complaints, which was simply...
I'm just wondering in the future whether or not we should actually have a compliments form as well, so that people can say if something's right, you know what I mean? Because it's all right taking complaints every time, but should we actually have the other side of the coin, that if somebody wants to compliment on how it's been dealt with or done? And just the devil's advocate there, I know that's another job for later down the line, which I can put to something else, but yeah. Just
Stuart, I'll let you do the compliments form.
Right. Have we any other comment? That was just a comment, that's all, Nigel, that was wanted to make. Any other comments on this? Or are we happy to accept this and pass this through? I've got thumbs up all round on that one. Right, so that is passed through then. We'll just have to make sure that we print it the right way, because mine's come out the wrong way up, but there we go. When you turn it over. Nigel, you've got your hand up again.
Item 13. So again, in the budget meeting, I had money set aside for other web pages that we were going to develop. One of which came from an idea from Chris, I think it was, that we develop a website defibrillator map for the parish. We've had a quote from Graphica, which is option 2. Yeah, so it's option 2, £240 plus the test and upload of £60. So I want us to agree £300 for the defibrillator map of the parish on the website. I propose this motion.
Can I just check with Sue? Is this the same one as 21342 from last time, where we said the order's been placed with Graphica?
The last meeting, that was to put the archive of the minutes.
So it's the same firm doing more work for us.
Yeah. So if somebody can let me have maybe a list of where they are to pass on, so we can get them mapped, that would be useful.
I think Chris was putting together a bit of a list of that.
Stella, I think I managed to persuade Stella sort of said she'd do it.
Well, Stella's got her hand up, so I'll let Stella answer, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said I would help do it with Chris, but I also know there's probably another couple coming. There's one coming on Long Lane, I think, once they can open outside and that. So I know we want the map if we can agree to do it, but wait. Or will it cost more to have another one put on if we start it now?
No, so we can do it now, and we can add them and take them away as they come about.
Right. Yeah. Because I know the gym place is going to put one outside. She's got it inside, but she can't do it until she reopens. But yeah, I'll work with you, Chris. We'll meet up this one day this week and sort it. Just had a lot on this week.
Can I get a second?
Have we got a seconder for that yet? Jason seconded. Yeah. Everybody in favour? Yeah. Okay, so that's sorted then.
That's nice to get that done.
Next one is the schedule of accounts for payment, which obviously Emma sent out to you yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Have we any questions, queries, or anything on the accounts for this month? Or are you happy that we sign the checks and pay these bills? Any comments? No hands going up anywhere, so I'll take that as...
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, Stella, go on.
No, it's not about not paying them. Is there any chance you can do back? I was talking to someone and they said it's about checks. Can't we do backs payments? So?
Yeah, once we've got our new councillors, hopefully we can set up to do online payments.
Right, because I did put my name down to sign checks, but I never heard anything back, so.
Yeah, we need to check. Getting people on the Monday is difficult at the moment because they've got a massive backlog.
Right, okay then.
But, yeah.
No, someone just asked me, why do we still pay by check, so I can answer them. That's okay.
Well, with our digital banking, that was one of the things we were trying to alter. But like Sue says, there's such a backlog with the banks. Yeah. And us not having banks here to be able to walk into to try and sort it out.
I know, that's the hard bit.
That's the hard bit. Sue has been trying, and we said some of it would have to be once we've got as new councillors, because hopefully we'll have some other people that can be signatures for the backs. So, yes, that will be ongoing. So if everybody's happy with that, we'll pay our bills. So thank you. You second. Thank you, Jason. Everybody happy with that? Nobody's.
Oh, Jason's got one. Jason wants to speak, but he's on. He needs to mute.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Jason, you're on. If you'd like to do mute.
Chair, just one, Sue. Can I just check what the natural stone for B Merrick is in the park?
It'll be. It's for the flower beds. So
if you go in by the Bowling Green entrance that we talked about earlier, that's locked at night and what have you, there's a pile of stone there that he's got ready for doing the casing around the outside of it.
Right. Okay. So that natural. So B Merrick is that the chap from Birchover?
Well, isn't he on his way over to Hayfield somewhere there?
Well,
Is that who it is?
if that's the case, then that would be the wrong stone, because I think the stone from the arch, which is what we talked about, Stuart, was that we wanted the stone to match the arch and the flower bed in front of the bowling green. It was to tie it all in together. So
I might have the wrong place. Where you got it from before to do the other?
Yeah,
the other stone. It's the same place, I think, isn't it, Sue?
To be honest, I think Emma will have dealt with this through amenities, so I'll just have to check with her.
Yes,
I think it's wherever the other came from.
Yeah, as long as it is actually the same stone, Sue. If it's not come from the same quarry, then I wouldn't want that.
Okay, I'll check.
Sorry,
I think it's come from the same place, Jason, from what I can gather.
Right.
We'll have to go and have a look where he's tipped there, won't we?
Yeah.
All right. Other than that, everything's all okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, on that one. Now then, I think I'll hand over to Sue for this one under the correspondence, because you've all had it, this letter from the ICO, and I do know that Sue has replied to it. So I'll hand over to Sue for this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory. We had a resident who submitted a freedom of information request. We didn't release all the information, and they have now complained to the ICO. So we've answered the questions on the letter, and the ICO will rule as to whether we were correct or not in what we did.
Nigel?
Yeah, can I just ask whether councillors can see the council's response, please?
Yes, I can email it to you.
Good.
I think you only did it the other day, didn't you, Sue?
Yeah.
I knew you just said to me that you'd done it. So, yeah, we can sort that out, that the response is sent through to you. No problem. Any other letters? There's nothing on his packs, nothing else come in that we need to emergency do? No?
No.
Right. Now, the next one, obviously, is moving on to the date of the annual parish meeting, the annual one where the public can come in. We have this usually on I think it's the last Thursday. I think I've got it right with the 28th, it's either Wednesday or Thursday, the last of the month. So that was set a long time ago, and it's just to inform you that we will keep that date. I think it's Stella's looking, I can see her looking up at her planner. Is it a Thursday, that one, Stella?
Oh, no, the 29th is a Thursday.
So it's
28th
the
Wednesday.
Right, so it's the Wednesday night at 7:30, and obviously that will be by Zoom, and that's the one where we try and get everybody, the other county councillors and that, to give reports, and anybody from the Friends of the Station or Friends of the Park, or we'll try and get the written ones in. We've got one, I think, from the Friends of the Station. They've already sent one in ready for that, so we'll put a pack together for you and get that out in time. That's just for you to note the date. Right, now the other one that you asked me to get put on the agenda was the specification for the benches and seats for the park. Now I'm going to go back to Jason here, because this is his baby as such, and everybody's had the specs and had a chance to have a look at them, and I know there's different opinions, but we need to actually agree which we're going for, and then we can get them ordered and we can get them into the park and get them onto the bases and everything. So over to you, Jason.
Yeah, okay. Well, Chris has got his hand up, actually, Chair.
Oh, so he has. Sorry, Chris.
I just basically all I was going to say was that I want to go for the one that's called the bowl, and that's the one that's as the disabled, but also that you don't have to cut your leg over, that you can, so that but I just say that there's two versions of the bowl, and there's one without the overhang for wheelchairs and one with. It'd be the one with the overhang, which is something much more, but so it's got both the shuffling bit and the overhang. I just don't. All I want to do is propose we have that one, please. I think it's so nice.
Right, back to you, Jason, as chairman of the amenities. Do you want to, Nigel?
Yeah, I'd like to agree with Stuart, with Chris. I mean, I liked it. So I saw it online. I decided to buy one for my own garden. There you go.
Right, well, can I just speak, if I may, Jason, for you, and throw the spanner in amongst the works? Because, yeah, I did quite like it. It was just a case of, I know Stella and myself, we'd spoken at the word go on all this, that we wanted them to be heavy enough so that the kids couldn't throw them around. And that's why we were looking at either the wooden or the recycled plastic of the octagonal tables, because they're a lot heavier and that, so they can't shift them about and pinch them or whatever. And also, these have the ones that you're talking about, the Bowland has a metal frame. If we do go for that one, I do hope that we can actually make them bolted down stronger, better, whatever, so they can't pick them up and move them around or do anything like that, because we certainly don't want any of them going walkabout or being thrown around. So we do need to firmly affix them to the ground, Jason, if that's the one we go to, because it was just how we were been speaking in the past, you know, of whatever. And also I noticed that there was something different in the price as well. You could actually have a logo or a place for a nameplate to go on, which we did mention about having them named or numbered so we knew where they were. So I just wanted to put that in whilst we're talking or whatever, because I think other people want to speak to you. And I can see Stella's got her hand up, and I saw Nigel put his hand up, and Chris has put his hand up again. So you take them in which order you want, Jason.
Stella?
I'm just saying, do we have to have them all the same? Could we have, depending where, could we have a couple of the bigger octangle, I can't pronounce the word, octangle ones, and then maybe the rest, the Bowland ones that Chris and Nigel are on about? Just have to, because other ones that I saw was bigger, so they'd fit more people round, or they look like they'd fit more people round. Do we want all of them with wheelchair access?
So it's a good question. It's a good question. Actually, something that will. I'm not going to make a decision right now. I've listened to what Chris has said. I've listened to what Nigel said, and within the next 24 hours, we will make a decision. But we'll do it by mail. Just to give you time to get that point across to me, Chris.
Basically, the thing is, if we have them all the same, if there's someone sat in, if we only have one sort of disabled access one, someone's sat in it, and you can hardly go and ask them to, it's a bit difficult asking them to shift. It just needs to be they're all multi-purpose. But the other thing I was saying, we are talking about initially putting over one or two on the dais. Now, I'd ask that we use this type of bolts that can be taken out and leave the ground flat, just in case we need to take them out just for a carnival or something like that. If you understand. So if we do take them out for move them for an event, there shouldn't be a trip hazard there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking is on the fixings.
Yeah, that's a good point, Nigel.
Yeah, just two small points. One is that when I ordered it, it does come with a ground fixing kit, ground fixing bolts. The other is that we put this on the agenda because we need to make a decision, and this is we can only make it in a council meeting rather than a amenities meeting, because it's going to be over 500 quid. And when I ordered mine, it's going to take a month till delivery. So if you want to put it off, then fair enough, but you're not going to get them by the early summer.
Yeah, it's a good point, Nigel. Just hang on, Chris. Yeah, so my gut feeling would be that I wanted to be uniform. I'm a huge believer in standardisation, which is why I've asked for the same stone from the arch to mirror the 100 years flower bed, etc. around the park. So my ideal wish would be that they would be standardised, Stella.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm just thinking them octangle ones where if you've got 6 people and you've got your sandwiches, there's a lot more room for them. That's only my opinion going out with kids. But whichever you have will look good because we haven't got any, and I'll go with the majority.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Chris.
Nigel's right to a certain extent. I'd like to make a formal proposal that we have the bowl that we buy 2 of the Bowland with overhang, please, because obviously the nicer weather's coming, and I don't think we can go wrong with two. So I don't know if I have a seconder.
I'll second that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, we need to get them in the park as soon as.
Can I add a caveat that whether we have the badge on or not is delegated to Jason and the assistant clerk? That they, it might be that we've got our own badge we can put on it.
I've just one question there, Chris. Is 2 enough?
No.
Just let's get started, please, and then
Right.
we always order more.
That's fine then. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, Stuart. So
Can I just say, Jason, when you looked at the stuff, if you ordered 3, they came at a cheaper price. And I was just going to say, should we be ordering 3? Because that brought them at a cheaper price. And also the park keeper with the triangle of land he wanted to put them in was looking at putting 3 there. So I was going to actually say, I was going to propose that we bought 3 because there's.
I'm happy to accept the amendment. And Nigel, are you happy to? Yeah, Nigel's still happy to second it, and I think Stella wants to talk.
No, just going to say, isn't it cheaper to buy more? That's all I was going to say. And yes, Stuart's got in there before me. So yeah,
so I have no
I just agree with everything.
So I have no objection, Chair. Are you okay with that? So that's all 4, 3 of.
3 of the Bowland, Sue, that are the longer
Yeah.
ones that are for disabled, and that can be sorted. And then Phil can sort out that triangle of land that he wanted to. We can see how they look and everything, and then we can order some more for elsewhere in the park.
Yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. That's a good start. Thank you, everybody, for that, because at least that's passed because of the amount of money, like we say, we've got to spend. Right, we'll move on then at that. Press releases. I honestly don't think we've got any press releases this month, and theoretically, I was just about to say it's Purdah, we shouldn't be doing press releases. And by the time we've done these things and we've got new councillors in May, we will definitely have some press releases that we want to put out because we want to. I think what I would ask, though, in amongst this, when we do say that we've got new councillors in May, can we hold it over soon? We actually announce that Dennis has retired with his press release when we talk about the new people. So, yeah, you know what I mean? It's only fair after everything we've said that we should, do something for Dennis, even if it's
Thank you.
something. Yeah, I heard Stella say she agrees there. Chris, you've got your hand up.
Sorry, I never loaded it before.
Right, okay. Right, well, with that, I'm going to ask that we resolve to exclude the press and the members of the public under the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act 1960, because obviously we've got to speak about this resignation and deal with it. It's nothing disastrous for anybody. So I will thank everybody for attending the meeting tonight, and hopefully they've got some answers to things, and we'll look forward to seeing them on the next couple of meetings before we actually have a face-to-face one in the town hall, which will be most unusual, won't it? Right,
So
thank you all for attending. Sue, did you wish to speak?
Yeah, you proposed that. Has somebody seconded it?
Oh, yes, I've got 3 hands up. Yes,
Thank you.
Stella's seconded it and Nigel had as well. And yeah. So if we'd just like to hang on a second while Sue people stop the recording and Sue turns everybody off and lets them all depart.